This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
Who is this?
Corbin, it's Bryn. We need your help.
I'm retired.
No, you're not.
We're done here.
You weren't the only agent targeted 3 months ago. The entire program was. Every operative admitted into the program was terminated that night. Everyone except 3.
Aside from you, only one of the other 2 agents was able to escape custody.
We knew a few of the handlers wouldn't fall through with their orders.
The few that resisted are being brought in now.
Curtis and Wallace haven't checked in.
Sweep the area again. I want them found.
Yes, sir.
I don't know you, and suddenly don't trust you.
Been too long, Sam Fisher. We don't have much time. McKenna has intel we can't afford to lose.
Why don't you tell me why the entire Eastern Bloc wants a piece of you?
It's not me they want. They said watch. Blueprints of some sort.
A time for change is upon us.
Diana Shetland, this mission is personal.
It doesn't have to end like this, Sam.
You ready, Cinderella? Sounds like we're going to the ball.
Get up close, gather intel, avoid blowback.
Those who want the world to change know that they must break it.
We need you to move fast.
This job makes you question everything, but we have to keep trying.
You will die screaming.
So done with you.
Nice of you to finally pay me a visit.
We mixed, reloaded it, re-edited it.
Sometimes we get so deep into conversation that we have separate segments worthy of their own place in the sun.
Here is a reshuffled mini-episode.
So welcome all. Again, we're in the middle of our Splinter Cell themed week. All things related to the Tom Clancy inspired and endorsed just cash cow for Ubisoft, and just why it was an amazing stealth game that has since been adapted into other mediums. And so I thought I'd do a tribute to 2 different streaming shows. That one that was unofficial but done with love, and another that was endorsed by the actual production company. So those who don't know, it followed Sam Fisher. He was a field ops guy from the fictional NSA Division 4th Echelon, which basically just is just for more off-the-grid counterterrorism operations, just an excuse for stealth. There's a good excuse for Ubisoft to reinvent the wheel. They'd already mastered stealth and adventure with the Prince of Persia games, and would do other stuff that Tom Clancy would put his name on, and the rest is history. They've done all kinds of other stuff: Far Cry, The Crew, and Riders Republic, everything. So, but this was a big deal because I was like, okay, the difference between this and all the other Tom Clancy stuff like The Division, Rainbow Six, what have you, obviously Assassin's Creed is their new big one, but Splinter Cell will always live on. There will always be some new thing on it coming out, just because it's just so engaging, it's so in depth. I just love the whole thing, how mysterious government guy Lambert just finds the best of the best. He's like, Sam, you're pretty cool, you're a top-notch guy, you're literally a ninja, and you're basically, you got the military expertise, you do all this dangerous stuff, you do everything from rescue spies captured by all kinds of enemies to taking down cartels and other unusual just anarchists, what have you. And just the character was always awesome. Like, he just looks like a mix between kind of a just everyday kind of physical kind of guy. He's going on something you would expect to see in like a Rambo, a Die Hard movie, but much like Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid, he looked a bit like Snake Plissken, so like a mix between a Kurt Russell type with a bit of that early, A-lister kind of look, like a George Clooney type. And his attitude was interesting because you never know if he was going to be kind of dry. Like, so he reminded me definitely of the type of characters Viggo Mortensen and Val Kilmer were playing in some of their unusual thrillers. But to make Sam stand out, he was more than just like Jack Bauer on 24, who was a, do whatever you need by any means. And he was more of a survivalist, much like Jason Bourne. But he was neat because he's just smarter than the game. He can always tell you, hey, the mission I'm being sent into, it's a trap. It's not going to work, but I got plan C instead of plan A or B. So I'm just glad it's finally been adapted 2 different times. One by a production company, an indie movie studio, Companion Pictures, and they, in 2012, crafted the Splinter Cell Extinction fan-made web series. And that was intriguing because I'm like, okay, wow. They had no shared names. They tried to make it as if it was their own thing, but it's clearly a love letter. It was really done with a lot of love, and they had a lot of behind the scenes videos, which are cool to watch, talking about how they choreographed all these eye-popping fight scenes, and they had someone who they knew who had a helicopter, and they're like, we got to go out with a bang. It's like, let's have 8 episodes and show some behind the scenes stuff. And they had some connections, and it was published on Internet Gaming Systems, also known as, everyone else knows as IGN.com. The go-to place for entertainment and video game news and reviews. And you're like, yeah, they did that realistic Legend of Zelda trailer. So that broke the internet on YouTube. So let's do a awesome fan-made tribute to the Splinter Cell video game series. And again, it's its own thing. It's clearly inspired, but kudos to all the very realistic wardrobe, costumes, electronic music, and just dedication. Like, these guys were doing their own thing just as if it were its own intense Tom Clancy's Born Identity type movie, and just added some night vision and in the dark fight scenes. very engaging. Each episode was like 12 minutes. They go by so fast before you know it. And if you have not seen it yet, but heard about it, and you're a fan of the genre, go for it. So, of course, finally, I remember this being announced the year before it came out, and much like this fan series, coincidentally, it's 8 episodes. So, a France and US produced anime version of Splinter Cell titled Deathwatch decided to come out. I know some are going to say that's not anime. Yeah, they're taking the basic anime approach, much like Naruto and Dragon Ball Z. I'm not making it up. It's really no different than the animated anthologies they did for pre-existing franchises like Batman and Halo. I mean, the Animatrix is pretty much the main basis of this inspiration. I was already stoked. Michael Ironside, who had voiced, Sam in the video games, thought he was too old, but everyone was pretty cool with the pick. They're like, let's get Lee Shriver. Yeah, that's right. Our dude, he played all these different unusual, violent, and just intense, just hard to describe, and complex roles. All these edgy thrillers, genre movies. You've seen him in everything. Scream 2, Pawn Sacrifice, Spotlight, and, he had that awesome Showtime TV show for 7 seasons. That was Ray Donovan. So it made sense to me instantly. It's like, yeah, Ray is basically Sam Fisher if he went too far and was just, a fixer in Hollywood. So yeah, that sounds right to me. I'm with it. He can go there. So he doesn't get as much voice acting as I would like, but it's a kudos to Derek Kolstad developing this. You know him as the creator of John Wick. He's done plenty of other over the top martial arts heavy action franchises like the Nobody franchise and plenty of other indie B movies. Like, he started off helping out Dolph Lundgren with a few indie films, and now he's still staying busy. And yeah, he has found his bread and butter. He's already gotten into TV prior. He decided I was cool with this because I was like, okay, anime's probably the best way to do it. And because they were announcing it previously, let's make it an Apple show, Tom Hardy. And I'm like, no, thank you. That's complete wrong sauce. He can't go there. He's going to just make the guy a brute instead of a likable but complex. Sam, you got to portray him like a samurai, or dare I say, utter assassins that have been notable, where they got the complex code and they're self-aware. So yeah, they adapt Anna Grimsby, and I saw the voice acting immediately and instantly geeked out. I was like, oh, nice. Okay, Janet Varney. Yeah, she is. She's best known for comedic ventures and hosting the JV podcast, her own talk show. But, she was in The Legend of Korra and plenty of other Nickelodeon shows. So I was like totally with it. And she plays it totally straight, which is so unusual compared to what I usually see her in. So glad to see her get that money. The character even looks a little more imposed to look like her because, she's the operations officer, sends Sam on all these dangerous NSA missions. Actress Kirby Howell Baptiste, who's been in everything from Why Women Kill to Killing Eve. And she's the voice of Death of the Endless in the Sandman TV adaptation. And so I was like, interesting. Okay. Yeah, the voice definitely sounds familiar, and I was with it. She was awesome as this original created spy operative who ends up being an unlikely ally for Sam. And again, each episode goes by so fast, even in the slower moments. So kudos to the animation. It doesn't always eye pop like I would like it to, but I would still say it's worth a watch. Now, if you have never played the game and don't have an interest, only know about Tom Clancy from other video games and movies and books he's put his name on, then it still might intrigue, especially if you're into just similar stuff like the Jack Reacher show, other spy movies and shows like MI5 and Strike Back. So it gets the job done. It's just interesting to me just watching this version because Kolstad's general style of blunt dialogue, unusual ways of having to kill people who are putting up a fight still comes through in the animation. So if you are a John Wick completist, you might like this from that alone because it is so similar. And they did the best they could to make the character appealing in its own right. I think it'll have room to grow. I would like a little more. But as it was, it was just a laid-back, easygoing way to go. And I'm just glad that Ubisoft was able to try just something. And who knows, they might even do what they did with The Mandalorian, where, they had these characters created for the Star Wars cartoon, the Clone Wars, and then made them live action. So I wouldn't be surprised if they like enough, they might say, we're going to try a live action version of this with this same cast and crew. So just speculation, not an actual fact or confirmation, but I would like it. And if they want to just do another animated season, I'm cool with that as well. It pretty much cut the mustard. It did exactly what it set out to do. Spy wanting answers. Again, they made personal stake that he had to go into. And it was just even more just intriguing and suspenseful. Just seeing people walk into elevators and meet strangers. It's like, yeah, this is still done by people who love movies and they just happen to be animating it. Again, I'm not the biggest animation guy these days outside of Pixar, but I was just pleasantly intrigued. And I'm going to see anything Splinter Cell related. So I was just like, yeah, I think they did justice to one of my favorite video games. And again, a good standalone thing. Now, there's plenty of car chases and people dropping quick but fancy exposition to getting your attention without feeling like seen it before, done before, too much, nothing intriguing at all. No, they did exactly what they needed to do. And so it's just so wild. I talked about one of the best fan films, basically, but done as a web series for YouTube and IGN, and another one that's an official adaptation, but just pretty stunning animation. So both winners in an unusual way. One unofficial, another official. Both 8 episodes, coincidentally. But enjoy, gang. You won't be let down by either one. They totally did the character justice because they did some other fan films of Splinter Cell, which I didn't think were good at all. They were just very basic, literally ended just as they were starting. It was basically a sizzle reel, but not in a good way. It's like, okay, you captured the look, but you didn't even have anything happen. You just had the guy literally just sneak around and turn on his night vision goggles. The whole fun of Sam is going into the unusual missions and the creative ways he will escape these lethal outcomes, using stealth. And with this Netflix show, it was interesting how to explore how, his personal revenge, all these other corporate guys did him dirty, and teach the other gal how to be a little more stealthy and train for this upcoming mission. It's like, that's fine. That gives me a personal stake and interest in this. So definitely check them out, guys, if you have not. And thank you for listening, and hopefully we entertained you.
We'll return after these messages.
Hey, it's Brent Pope, the host of Breakfast with Brent Pope. You've seen me on some of your favorite TV shows saying things like, "Give it up, Jimmy. You got to sink this putt to win." On Breakfast with Brent Pope, I sit down with guests from the entertainment world, and we do it all over breakfast. Or should I say Brentfast? Every week on Breakfast, you get inside Hollywood info and tips, great breakfast recs and foodie debates. Most of all, you get the most delightful 30 minutes of your week. So dig in. It's Breakfast time. Listen at Breakfast.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever fine podcasts are found.
Do you ever find yourself thinking about who would win in a fight between Goku and Superman? Hi, I'm James Gavsey, and on the Who Would Win show, me and my co-host Ray ignore anything important happening in the outside world and debate fictional battles between characters from comics, movies, and video games.
We got a new show every week, and almost always am I the winner.
Yeah, not true, Ray.
In the past, we've discussed such matches as Captain America versus Darth Vader, Solid Snake versus the Iron Giant, classic matchups like RoboCop versus Terminator, and even the Muppets versus Sesame Street.
That one was crazy. So if you're a fan of geek culture and love a spirited debate, check out the Who Would Win Show wherever you get your podcasts, or check us out at whowouldwinshow.com.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a Jack